And we should be live, but let me check. Appears to be that way, which is good. Alright. Anyways, so now that we seem to be live, we'll skip the ad here on that so I can actually see what's going on and read the chat and put stuff in there. So hello everyone, Ace here, and today we are here with another Ace cast with Xerius.
Sup?
So, and yeah, let's actually get into it. There's actually a few stories to cover with regards to video game news, because there's going to be some reveals this week, presumably, from what has been rumored and all that, as well as some games that have already been revealed. But anyways, Xerius, would you like to start off, or shall I?
I think it would be best if you start things off. I have something that'll definitely take up a good chunk of the stream time later on.
Alright, so first of all, I'll send you the link here so you can see. We have the Necromancer Hired Gun overview trailer. I can turn on closed captions, so we'll just see how that goes. So, as you can tell, it is going to be a somewhat open-ish world RPG from what I understand, and it is going to be, of course, a proper... it's going to be set in Necromunda, as the name suggests, so you get to play as a bounty hunter. Now, I know that this game is made by the same guys that made I Divine Cybermancy and Deathwing Enhanced Edition, Space Hulk Deathwing Enhanced Edition, so take that as you will. Personally, I'm kind of hoping that because this is going to lean closer towards what I was, that this should hopefully be decent, if a little bit... I can handle a game that has mid-tier graphics and all that, so long as the gameplay is good, and that is something that I was known for. But, yeah, it does seem... Well, it does have my interest, if nothing else. But ultimately, well, if you're watching the trailer as well, Xerius, what are your thoughts on this? Xerius, can you hear me? I don't know what's going on with Xerius right now. We apparently are having trouble. He's having trouble hearing me or something. I do not know. But yeah, like I said, I'm hoping that this is, again, a little bit going to be more like I Divine Cybermancy, which itself was a relatively fast-paced game as well. I know a lot of people are comparing this to Doom Eternal, which, from what I've seen, does seem to be somewhat fair in terms of how fast-paced it is, sure, and some of the movement. On the other hand, it also, again, is going to be, from what I understand, it's going to have more roleplay elements than Doom Eternal did. So that, well, Doom Eternal isn't really much of a roleplay game at all, let's be honest. So that does at least seem to be an interesting mix-up in its own right. And apparently there is, like Doom Eternal, going to be some exploration as well in some of the maps for unlocking new goodies, which does seem to be interesting, I suppose. But yeah, Xerius, are you able to hear me, yes or no? I still cannot hear Xerius for some reason. Or I guess he still cannot hear me. I do not know why that is the case, but apparently there we go. Well, it is coming out on June the 1st. I'll admit I've already pre-ordered it myself, but it's up to you if you want to do that or not. I'm going to be doing it because I'm most likely going to be doing a first impressions of it. Alright, I'm going to try to get Xerius's attention, and hopefully...
Yeah, I'm here.
Oh, I didn't know you were there. I couldn't hear you.
Sorry, I had to I had to mute you because I couldn't hear the trailer over your voice.
Oh, that explains it.
I probably should have mentioned that, but hey, I'm dumb.
Alright, so ultimately, what are your thoughts over it?
It looks mediocre, to be blunt.
Visually,
Well, visually it looks okay. I'm more concerned about the weapons. They don't feel Warhammer at all. They just feel like your standard, regular first-person shooter, Call of Duty styled crap. Aside from the grenade launcher, that looks alright.
I think I will say, given their past experience, that this is the same team behind I Divine Cybermancy. I do think that they do that. From what I've seen from that game, they do tend to do weapons a little bit differently from COD. Although it'll be interesting to see how the game actually does play once it's in your hands and all that. That's.
I just visually dislike the weapons.
Okay.
They feel way too modern military-esque instead of, Warhammer. Stub rifles, auto guns, las guns, bolters, that kind of stuff. And it doesn't even have to be the same old generic pattern of las gun, auto gun, and stuff like that. It could be something interesting like, say, a Lucius or Isa pattern gun. But instead, what they got going here feels way too small, compact. It just doesn't feel right. Especially the iron sights on some of these guns. They feel way too modern military-esque.
Alright. I see what you're saying. Okay. I guess we'll just have to see how they actually handle and all that once it comes out, I guess. But yeah, it's fair. I suppose that does seem to be a fair concern, yes.
I am, however, excited to see how they handle the plasma gun. That will probably be interesting. And because I've been really into salamanders lately, I hope they put a flamer in there.
Well, you'd think they would. I mean, they had a flamer in Space Hulk Deathwing Enhanced, so there is that, of course.
Indeed, the heavy flamer. Yummy.
All right, but yeah, that's all. Well, is there anything else you want to cover with regards to Necromunda Hired Gun, then?
I most likely won't buy it on full or even half priced until we get to see more of the game. Then I might consider a few things.
All right. All right. So with that out of the way, I guess we'll go ahead and see what is going to be your first story. I believe you said that it was going to be a rather lengthy one, probably.
Yeah, I suppose I should have done this beforehand. Because now I'm trying to pull up the... Oh, excuse me. Warhammer community page. Ugh.
Okay.
Okay, it would appear they completely restructured their Warhammer community website recently. That's nice.
Maybe I can look it up if you have if you know what it's about. It's about the new models that we're getting for the Adepta, for the Sisters of Battle.
Well, it's more regarding the entirety of the Warhammer Fest livestream week.
Okay.
Which, in my opinion, was mostly utter garbage.
By the way, just for clarification, I was, for the record, I did actually find out what people were talking about, because you were curious to find out what exactly was meant by the certain way that one of the guys in the ad described the exorcist.
No. I think I've gotten the hang of it. I think I get what he means now.
Same here, yeah.
It took me a while to get that that view of the word "come" out of my head. And once I did, I completely understood what he meant.
Yeah. To be fair,
So really, for once, it was the fault on us and not them.
yeah. Still a little on the funny side and all that.
All right, I got the first day's reveals. I'll pop
Okay.
here. All right, Warhammer Fist. Day 1 reveals. And of course, the first stuff we get is some random Age of Sigmar crap. Because people care about this game, apparently. Yeah, so skip all the trailers and the stream, yada yada yada. And here we have the first model.
Mm-hmm.
Kragnos, or whatever. I don't know, some centaur-looking dude. This is yet another example of unnecessarily big for no reason. Like, I mean, is there a reason he has to have such a massive rock on his base? Is there a reason he has to have such a massive base?
To look epic,
No.
I guess, but
they'd go with it anyway because reasons. But I mean, for the guy himself, it looks alright. The hair doesn't look too bad. The muscle structuring is adequate. The arms look good. You know, they're actually veiny instead of just a blank muscle arm. The head and face, on the other hand, is hideous.
I mean, to be fair, though, I think that's what they're
that's
going
ugly.
for.
Yeah, but I mean, compare it to the artwork on the Kragnos book. Yeah, they've completely failed to get a face correct yet again. Because apparently Games Workshop has completely forgotten how to sculpt animalistic and female faces entirely.
So, Prophet of Hazhut says, hello there.
Greetings. But yeah, that's that model way.
Okay.
And then we come to the 2 new Witch Hunter models, which, I mean, they look alright.
Yeah,
I can definitely see these being used for 40k Inquisitor conversions. Especially considering the guy has what is essentially an Age of Sigmar purity seal on his chest. Because everything has to have a purity seal.
Well, of course, it's the rules.
Personally, the models are okay. However, there is a lot, and I mean a lot, of sharp edges on the clothing. You know, the cloaks and the boots and the pants, the gloves, everything has sharp, razor sharp blade edges. And it's obvious why they do that. They're constantly trying to encourage people to, you know, edge highlight because that's the style they like. And because they like it, you must do it and you must like it or something. I don't know. It's just ugly. But for the most part, they're okay. The model after that, however, is talk about a visual eye diarrhea, sore, painful to look at.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is something I've seen people talk about a lot with some of the new model is it's bigger than it should be. Like, realistically, well, I don't just be exposed even realistically. It's just, why must this guy have not only his fancy floating chair, but also just random moving stones floating around him and this big jade construct on the top of his chair? And it's just detail for the sake of detail.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, also at the same time, yay for Lizardman.
I mean,
because
hey,
apparently Lizardmen don't get a lot of releases. I don't know.
all right. So I guess we can move on to the next one.
Yes, the next model. Oh boy, I'm gonna be blunt. They've completely screwed up Slaanesh again.
Mm.
However, it has less to do with the character itself. The body looks okay. However, overall, especially with the weird fan frill things and the cloth, it's way too symmetrical for Slaanesh.
Mm.
Now, anyone who knows Slaanesh is not only is he the god of, excess and stuff like that, and there's definite sexual tones to it, but also Slaanesh is a very asymmetrical chaos god when it comes to, the demons and the corrupted things and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas this and the model after it, way too symmetrical. And I don't know why they've done that. It just looks weird, especially it doesn't look right. But that mostly has to do with the crap behind the model. And this is another example of random crap for the sake of random crap.
Mm-hmm.
And it makes the model look way more bigger than it should be. Because and this is a theme I'm starting to notice in general with some Age of Sigmar releases. They're trying way too much and way too hard to make the individual model, figure, whatever, look more grand and epic than it really should be. Of course, I don't know why, but they do it anyway because reasons. Oh, excuse me.
All right, so these two models
and
here,
also
and then...
another point for Slaanesh. Why are they just getting character after character after character? Whatever happened to giving factions their infantry choices? Light, heavy, stuff like that.
Well, if it's anything
I don't know when last the demonettes have been updated. The infantry models themselves, demonettes and fiends and riders. I'm pretty sure they haven't been updated since maybe 5th edition 40k.
Mm.
And that's a pretty damn long time for them to not be updated. But they seem to be compelled to keep shoving character after character after character down their throats.
Mm-hmm.
Down our throats.
I think it may have something to... Well, if it's anything like how the Total War games have been, including Total War Warhammer, it might have something to do with the whole... Well, I know with Total War Warhammer, it's a power creep, of course, with infantry not really being seen as that useful in comparison to hero units and single entity units and all that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's especially weird for Age of Sigmar because old Warhammer Fantasy and even early Age of Sigmar to some extent was about these big, mass infantry fights. A horde versus another horde of just infantry and rows of basically fodder.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what made it interesting, interesting and fun to look at. A bit repetitive to paint, maybe. But people definitely enjoyed it more than just character after character after character.
Mm.
And this is honestly getting a bit obnoxious at this point.
AR says Slaanesh did not
Especially,
need... AR says Slaanesh did not need more demon princes, lol. Seems to be on point.
Yeah, kind of have enough already, but hey, I suppose gotta milk that money cow as much as possible.
Mm.
All right.
So the next model?
The next one after that, I don't know what this thing is. It's obviously for wood elves or whatever they're called in Age of Sigmar, and it suffers from the exact same problem.
Too much stuff.
As the 3 models before, yeah, and this one is a better example because it's a smaller. It's actually a smaller body model than the other ones, and yet it's got all of this big stuff. It's got a massive gold thing with roots and eggs on its back, and a massive leaf cape, a massive base with roots and vines, and a big ass skull on it. It's just detail for the sake of detail, and it's unnecessary detail.
Mm. All right. Well, I do agree with you. It seems to be just way too much. I mean, if you're having trouble reading what a unit is or a model is even supposed to be, then that's probably a sign that you may have went a little too far. But
and actually, a problem that this and the Lizardman thing has in common, you don't know where the hell its face is. Like, take a brief look at this wood elf thing, and tell me you could instantly find its face.
It's right
a bit of a
there.
Challenge.
It's right there under the helmet, but I do get the point. You don't see it right away because they've added so much stuff.
Yeah, and this is a common theme in hobby, in figure hobby in general, is the vocal point of a model is the head and the face, because I don't exactly know, but I think it's supposed to be like the main form of character or something. I'm not entirely sure. But it's pretty much an unwritten rule that the face should always be the most vocal point of a model. Which some of these don't really do well because there's so much other random crap thrown in there.
Hidden Boss says, a lot FHT stuff I've seen so far, I feel like I would break it. Same here, actually. Yeah. Solon the Lich says, "Hail Ace." Hey, Solon. Hope you're having a good time. So apparently, so do you want to move on from this, or? I know there's more
Yeah,
to this, of
yeah.
course, in this. So they do show, it looks like, some new models for vampire counts.
Yeah, and I have to be honest, these are probably some of the ugliest ones they've shown. Yeah, let's take the first one, for example. The woman in purple armor.
Yeah.
Hold your hand over the bottom half. So pretty much just hold your hand covering up to her hips. It looks like a good model. It looks like a fantastic vampire model. I would even buy that if I could.
Mm-hmm.
Now move your hand and cover up her and just see the gargoyle bat part of the body.
Yeah.
That also looks like a nice model.
It's when they
I'll take your
combine
hand
the
away.
two.
Yeah. It separately they look like good models, but once I'll put it to you this way: it looks like someone kit bashed this.
I mean, you're not wrong.
It looks like they took one of the vampire count regular models and then they shoved it onto some random bat creature thing and then called it a day.
Yeah. I also like to...
And it doesn't look right.
Also, is it just me, or did they kind of leave certain parts of it not completely painted? Like they half-assed it? Like, look at the fangs on her, on the close-up of her face. The bottom parts, they didn't even paint the blood on.
Oh, no, that's just regular Games Workshop.
Yeah. It's still kind of... If you're going to do a close-up shot like that, though, it seems like you should not highlight an area that
You know what? You know what? And you can see it in these close-ups. This model has clearly been sitting in someone's cupboard for quite a while. Like, that is covered in dust and dirt.
Oh my god, you're right. The sheer level of... Why would you... You can't even be bothered to dust off your goddamn model in the for the close-ups to advertise it to people who might be otherwise interested in buying it. How lazy can you get? Someone hire Games Workshop a maid. For the love of...
I could forgive it if it was the base that was a bit dusty.
But no,
But
it's
when
not.
it's the focal point of the model.
You can even see a little bit of the dust on the model's face as well. It's...
Yep, just a little.
Why...
That's...
AR says they don't have Duncan anymore to carry the paint jobs on faces, lol. They don't have someone to dust either, apparently. We all know... Okay,
Alfarius... have a model janitor.
Alfarius says, we all know the people at GW already like maids.
Mate, really? Aye.
Orososium says, well, I arrived late and people are already dying.
Yes, indeed.
It's I'll tell you why. It's because this brand new model, Orososium, here it is. This brand new model that they are advertising in close-ups, they can't even be bothered to dust it off. It's been sitting somewhere for a while to gather dust, and they have not done a single thing to even be bothered to dust it off. You can even see dust on the model's face. It's just... I'm now going to start looking to see if there's other models that have dust on them too, just because of that.
Yeah, I was also doing that with the witch hunters.
I mean,
It almost does look like they're just a little bit dusty, but not as bad as this vampire model.
no. But all right, so let's move
Oh
on.
yes, and as usual, they're throwing some random rock work on the base because everyone needs a tactical rock.
Well, of course. Or Socium says it is dusty because models don't sell, and when they sell, you don't want people to know you bought it. I mean,
Oh.
all right. So, is there?
Hey, still up? Yep, there you are.
Yeah, I am.
There you are.
Well, they don't show a
But
close
yeah,
up of this model here of the next vampire. So they don't show a proper close up, so we can't really see if he's dusty as well. I mean, if this is what they are willing to give you a close up of, just think of what they're hiding from not. Hidden Boss says model dust costs more. You got to pay more for the dust. You know, Games Workshop, if they could find a way, they would unironically be doing it.
They would. They would.
And then they would be charging
withering products.
and then they would be charging extra money for accessories for that as well to get the proper amount of dust.
Yep.
Alfaria says they spent more time on the rocks in the base than the unit.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, this is somewhat true. But anyway, that's that ugly model, which is it's implied that it can either be male or female, which yay for inclusivity and representation, I suppose. I don't know. Feels weird. So the next one we have,
Radukar the Beast.
so yeah, we have Lehman Russ in Age of Sigmar. Nice.
Mm.
It's just it's trying it's trying and failing to look like a werewolf vampire kind of hybrid. And again they show that they love giving everything a sharp edge. Like, look at the excuse me. Look at the blood and gore sliding off of his hand, covered in edges. Because, as we all know, liquid and slime has hard edges.
Of course.
You know, they're not smooth or anything. You know.
Yeah, of course. That's exactly how that works. Didn't you know?
Yes.
All right, so let me read some more of the comments here. AR says vampire turned it from tactical rock to tactical dust. Robert Chalk says self dust is the new drop from Citadel. Or Socium says Games Workshop. We allow you to buy miniatures. We only ask for your firstborn, your kidneys, and your soul. The last one only because we need to learn what a soul is. AR says $30 for a spray can of tactical dust. Alfari says Lehman Russ on 420. Uchiwa Sushui says hello. Hello there. Sorry if I butchered pronouncing your username.
Also, another comment, and this has to do with its base.
Tactical log.
Out of some of these, it was predicted, and we were given the tactical log.
Indeed we were.
Now, if only we could buy that separately. Now, if only we could buy that separately.
Yeah. Lions
What a
Amon says, hello. Hello, Lions Amon. Uchiha says, I speak Russia. Okay. Russian. Okay. Okay. Alright, so, yeah.
Well,
And then we
that
get...
was that ugly dude.
Yeah, then we have another one.
Whew. Only compliment I'll give this model is the wolves look decent.
Yeah.
This is another one of those vampires that's half vampire and half werewolf for some reason.
Oh, we actually get an actual
And,
non-hero
of course-
unit. That's hooray.
You mean the dire wolves?
Yeah. Miracles do happen, everyone. There's a single new non-hero unit. Hooray.
Yeah. And to be honest, they look alright. Except for the drooling that's been sculpted on. That looks
that's a little
absolutely
silly.
disgusting. That's just, they didn't even try with that.
Lions Amon says, not the furries. And Alfari says, GW watched Twilight.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Yes, and no, okay. 1, 2, 3. Only 3 of these wolves have tactical rocks. Not bad.
Yeah. Let's see. Orososium says, the best thing I've seen, wolves. Puppers are good, puppers are life, even when they are undead. Alfaria says, praise Sigmar. AR says, wolves look alright. Yeah, they do. Chia is saying, you are very cool. Thank you very much. So, we do actually get some close-ups of the wolves. And it looks like there's dust on them, too.
Oh, yeah, now I see it.
Yep. We really are getting... We really are getting...
Workshop, everyone.
We are really legitimately getting... Sorry, but we are legitimately going to be getting the tactical dust spray from Games Workshop. That's going to be their new advertising. They've been advertising it more than they have individual models at this point. The tactical dust. This one's also got tactical dust a little bit, it looks like. Oh, special... God, look what they've done to the ears on that. Let's see.
Honestly, I do like these direwolves sculpts.
I do. The models actually themselves look good.
The sculpting on some of the fur is a bit too sharp for my taste. But aside from the disgusting dueling sculpts, I would honestly probably pick some of these up and convert them for probably a Chaos Army at some point. Or maybe just Space Wolves, because why not? I don't know, I like them. Aside from, of course, the dual effects, because they're ugly.
Alright, so Ursosium says, so much TTS wolf puns are coming to mind. Don't you have any wolves?
Oh, no.
Robert Chalk says, dust is not as good as natural texture. Agreed.
Yeah. Oh, well. Right. Well, that was the first day of Warhammer Fest.
Alright.
Of the Warhammer Fest reveals. Oh, yes. Also, I should probably mention that Games Workshop tried to hype the hell out of Warhammer Fest by saying, we have a lot to show. No, seriously, we have a lot. And some of these reveals have been so anticlimactic and so low in reveal stuff that, way to go, Games Workshop. You've lied to us yet again.
Yep. All right. Well, but it does seem like you're done with this. So if you want, if it's all right with you, we can move on to the next thing I was going to cover, which is going to be really short, anyways.
Yeah, that's cool.
And that is, I'll just provide you the link, although it's only 33 seconds long. So it is the new gameplay reveal tease for Warhammer 3. So,
oh boy,
which is going to
be interesting.
Which is going to be coming out this Thursday, the proper trailer for it, anyways. So this is just the tease,
God.
and yeah, there's not really. So nothing really standing out too much there. It's only what? Wait, what? Okay, I'm missing something.
No, it's just when that big ass demon went roar.
Okay.
It does not suit his size at all.
Let me see it. Let me just put the audio on.
It's around 14, 15
You're
seconds.
right. That voice.
Roar.
Oh dear God! Why would you do that?
Roar.
I've got to see that again.
Get ready to conquer your demons as we invade the realm.
Roar.
Okay, so let's just get through some of the comments. Orososium says, GW just plain tries to hide Warhammer. Funny considering they're trying to sell it to you. Yeah. Robert Chalk says, can't wait till y'all get to the IG Imperial Guard upgrade kit.
Oh, don't worry. We'll get to that.
Oh boy. Mr. Dan Sand says, yeah, they showed one new sprue for a 15-year-old box set for 40k. Dough. Orososium says, Warhammer Total War 1 is the only fucking game. Warhammer 2 and 3 are fucking expansions. Fuck it all. Fuck gaming bullshit nowadays. Yes, I'm salty. I can understand.
Wow,
Okay, correction.
I couldn't tell.
Correction, Orososium. Correction. Warhammer 1 was the only shell of a game. Warhammer 2 and 3 were overglorified season passes. But Warhammer 1 wasn't even didn't have quite enough in it to be a full game. Now, I will say, to CA Creative Assembly's credit, they've been slowly fixing some of the problems that have been in since the very first game. But the problem is, the very first game is, well, they've kind of, I will say this, like I said, in their defense, they have been fixing some stuff, like the Greenskins and the Wood Elves have actually had their campaigns fixed with the last 2 DLC. But that still leaves the fact that they were...
And one of their characters actually got fixed.
But the point still remains.
But yeah.
But the point still remains, it took them that long to fix problems that were existing since the very first game. Which has been out for how long now? But yeah. But DY says, is that supposed to be some sportscaster? Mr. Dansen says, roar! AR says, roar.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Roar.
Yeah, they're trying to hype this up as some sort of big event to the... I will say this, I am curious to see what they do reveal to an extent, but at the same time, it's really one of those situations where you're kind of in... It's really one of those situations where if you're not already into Total War Warhammer, do yourself a favor and please, for the love of God, do not go into that money sinkhole. If you are already there, it's kind of an in for a penny, in for a pound situation, and now you can actually get the game you were actually promised many, many years ago, but you do have to spend more money to actually get it, so it's... Horus Heresy says, okay, I stand corrected, and yes, Warhammer 1 was indeed a shell that had nearly everything they had the balls to charge you for after you bought the fucking game. Yeah. Mr. Dan Sand says, it's like any first game in a series nowadays. The first one is a proof of concept and investment vehicle, supposedly. The thing is, they already had... The Total War franchise has been around for so long, they kind of already have a basic understanding of how to do a lot of these things, and they just chose not to do it. Zeus, okay, so day 2. Alright, but yeah, so ultimately, I will say this, I am morbidly curious to see how far they managed to fix stuff with Warhammer 3. I'm also hoping that they also show what the final DLC is going to be, what that final DLC is going to be for Warhammer 2. I know everyone is, and I'm expecting it to be Beastmen, and hopefully they actually finally fix the Beastmen. Another thing that they royally screwed up way back in Warhammer 1, but here we are. Hopefully they managed to fix them too. But I am curious to see what else we're getting aside from the Beastmen, because it's usually 2 lords per pack. And who knows, with this, we might actually get a 3rd lord, as pure luck is concerned. But even then, yeah, Warhammer at this point is a massive... Total War Warhammer is just a massive sinkhole. Now, granted, you could say that with anything that has Games Workshop slapped on it somewhere, but with here it's especially egregious, at least when it comes to the realm of video games specifically. Sorry, rant over. and this is coming from a person that does not quite hate, that doesn't actually despise the game the way that Arch and Kibbs do. I still think, though, it deserves a hell of a lot of flack for the stuff that Creative Assembly has screwed up. And have been spending years doing their best, have been spending years trying to fix. But anyways, let's move on to this before I get here all day. All this over a 30-second teaser.
Rant?
To just keep that...
Yeah, well, we're about to go from one rant to another.
Hooray!
With the new... Well, the Sister of Battle suits are coming next, but here we have a Sister of Battle character. However, it's not just a Sisters of Battle character, it's apparently a High Lord of Terra. Because apparently those guys just can just go into the open battlefield now.
Okay.
Yeah, because that makes sense. But yeah, this is dumb. I have nothing nice to say about this. And this is also another example of pretty much just a Mary Sue character. Because get this. And they also describe her as being as close to a Primarch as the Sisters of Battle will get. Right, sure. And apparently she's buddy-buddy with Girly Man himself. Because, yeah, that makes sense. That makes complete and total utter sense. Yeah. Ugh, I hate it.
All right, let me read some of the comments
It's
here.
It's dumb. It should not exist. I hate it. I gotta breathe as to not scream my lungs out.
All right, well, while you're doing that, allow me to read some of the comments. Mr. Dansen says, Quarren Demons are playable, but you gotta pay for that blood DLC. Good point, especially once the Slaanesh demons start coming in. Orososium says, We'll get the halflings. Did you expect ogres, chaos dwarves, good gaming? Haha, hopeful idiots. I will say this. I am kind of expecting ogres, kingdoms as one of the ones for Warhammer 3. But if the halflings were going to be one of the special bonuses for this, for the Beastman DLC, that would actually be kind of sweet for that, I will admit. But that's also a Lord pack, and I wouldn't really be expecting that, to be honest. So, anyways, Prophet of Hazhut says, Nundem, okay. Alfari says, that was it, Ace, yeah. That's your Tim Allen grunt. Orososium. Yeah. I'm guessing that's the roar thing. Orososium says, what in the motherfucking warp of heretics are you saying? Adeptus Mechanicus Tech says, more baby carriers. Great.
Yeah.
Can we get one with salty cheese as the baby that it's carrying?
Oh, nice.
I'm just asking. that I might legitimately pick up. Then I could just give him a really stupid paint job for the lulz. Mr. Dansan says, I thought all the High Lords of Terra would be amorphous blobs. Yeah, that's what I thought too.
No. Yeah. But no, she's special. She's friends with the Primarch Gilliman, don't you know? And by the way, she's also the overall leader of the Sisters of Battle. So that as well.
Okay. Let's see. AR says the lore is silly. It can be. Adeptus Mechanicus Tech says, oh, and she's a Lord of Terra. Shoot me.
Yep.
Prophet of Hazhut says, Nundum Tech Heresy. Orsosium says, condensing bullshit,
yep.
I'm a woman moment. Brett Wordisham says, to me, most of the sisters in the second set of power armor looks like they hollowed out a Heresy-era Terminator and stuck a sister in it. That is... I mean, if that was the case, that would be moment. Heresy...
Yes.
If that was the case, that would be Heresy squared. Alright, but... let's see if there's any dust on this model, too. Let's actually check for dust.
Let's see. Let's look at the black bits. Honestly, it doesn't look that dusty.
You know what this means?
For the most part, it looks fine.
You know what this means? This means that even Games Workshop admits nobody gives a damn about Age of Sigmar.
Nice. Oof.
Even they don't care if they can't be bothered to dust the Age of Sigmar stuff, but will do it for the Warhammer 40k stuff. I guess we now know where the bait has been. They have been hiring her specifically to prioritize Warhammer 40k models. The Prophet of Hazhut says her little arms look funny sticking out of the side. Yes, they do. What you know what she looks like? She looks like that one mutant from Total Recall on Mars. The little dude that's in the guy's stomach there with his little arms. That's what she looks like. I might have to do a Who Wore It Better meme with that. Just... Alfari says Heresy Cubed TM. Totally. Orsosium says there were people that seriously cared about Age of Sigmar. Apparently not Games Workshop. But
I'm gonna dip into this just a little bit. Apparently, well, before Saturday anyway, apparently Age of Sigmar was actually in a pretty decent position. The rules were kind of solid. The model count was decent. Apparently, Age of Sigmar was actually in a pretty good spot. And then Games Workshop decided to pull a little something. What the hell?
What?
Oh god.
What happened? You okay?
Something's playing somewhere and my ears are bleeding. There it is. Shut up. You stupid Games Workshop employees.
Let me read some of the comments here. Ursosium says, I wish we could go back to the good days of specialist games. Any of them had more power than Age of Sigmar. Any. Adeptus Mechanicus Tech says, and she's a leader... Adeptus Mechanicus... sorry.
Ursosium... Honestly, specialist games are actually getting a lot of attention nowadays. I mean, okay, for context, Horus Heresy has gotten nothing this week. Well, last week. Meanwhile, Specialist Games has gotten some new Space Marine and Eldar releases. And there's some other releases for something else, but honestly, for Specialist Games, they're in a decent spot as well right now, because they're getting so much attention. Granted, it's unwanted attention, because us Horus Heresy fans would love some proper new models for a change. But hey, that's just us. We don't matter. Horus Heresy is dead.
Horus Heresy is dead and Games Workshop killed it. Let's see. Adeptus Mechanicus Tech says, and she's the leader of the Sisters of Battle. Screw this, I'm turning to Chaos. Ursosium says, I vote for the Iron Warriors if we turn to Chaos. At least they don't do this bullshit. I mean, I could say something, but I probably shouldn't. Prophet of Hazhut says, Chaos won, so give me the great game that rules for just demons versus demons. Make it really cool and give them some new units. Or Associum says, and Modern Necromunda is not my cup of tea. I liked it better in the old days. I sound ancient. Brett Wordesheim says to Ace.
Nah, I can understand that.
Brett says her armor looks like a cross between a penitent engine and a terrible stripped down version of the Appleseed power armor. Apharius says smash it.
Well, anyway, moving past that horrible piece of crap. We have a Sisters of Battle model that actually is half decent. Aside from the face. The face is still absolutely hideous because Games Workshop can't sculpt females to save their lives.
I mean, yeah.
Now, I will grant them this.
Wait a second.
The banner...
Wait a second.
What? What is it? What is it?
I can see the dust on that model from here.
Yeah, I can see a little bit of dust. But that's beside the point right now. I will say that the banner does look pretty decent. And the nicest part about it, it's not covered in sharp, hard-ass edges. Like, I mean, look, when where it's folding into her arm, it's a little bit sharp. But in general, it's a nice, smooth cloth surface. And it actually looks like clothy fabric. Instead of the crap we just looked at for those Age of Sigmar models.
Mm-hmm.
But, as usual, they can't sculpt female faces to save their lives.
Oh, so... I accidentally skipped ahead, and that was the one I was talking about with the dust.
Ah.
You know what I'm talking about now.
Oh no! This thing is nothing new. This thing is absolutely nothing new. We've seen this abomination already, and no one likes it.
You
It
mean
is
Dogmata?
Ugly.
Yep.
Yes, it's ugly. It's a generic, overused pose. The face is hideous.
I
the
know.
hands are disgusting.
It looks like
And it's
she.
basically it's basically a Sisters of Battle chaplain. Because that makes sense.
Look at the hand on the right. It looks like
Yep.
bones instead of a hand there. That's what it looks
that's
like.
the problem with the hands. It looks like Skeletor is in there somewhere. But this is a complaint a lot of people have with modern Sisters of Battle. They have gone from this elite organization of witch hunters to effectively female space marines. Not lore-wise, but through their range and their rules. They are basically just female space marines now. And that is honestly, I'm gonna say it, that's a bit of an offense to what Sisters of Battle used to be.
Agreed. Let's see, some
Especially
more.
the way they're treating them.
Prophet of Hazard says, I'm just glad Necromunda still has weapon options. AR says lol. Orsosium says that Dogmata is actually male. Or at least she has a manly face. Adeptus Mechanica Tech says, sup bro, oh wait, brah. AR says, the banner looks solid, but the lady holding it has such funny expression with squinting eyes. Alfari says, the pizza, He-Man, eat it. Alfari, okay, so DY says...
He-Man, eat it!
DY says, if I ever have the money to burn for a Sisters of Battle army, everyone gets a helmet. Britt says, to Ace, prepare for Imperial Guards, Space Marines, and Piston Power Armor. Or Associum says, aren't we supposed to have a new He-Man cartoon? I tremble in fear. Just imagine if
Oh god, please
He-Man...
no!
Imagine He-Man, Games Workshop, and Disney teaming up to make that He-Man cartoon. But it's Warhammer 40k. Because God hates us. That's what I'm picturing right now. And apparently from the vomiting, that's what Xerius is picturing right now too.
Well, yes and no. I just got a bit of spit down the wrong hole.
Fair enough. But anyways, so the next model, Palatine. And my god, what is wrong with her face too? And also more dust. It's congratulations, Age of Sigmar. Turns out it's not just you that's not getting the proper treatment before showing the models off.
To be fair, we have seen that model ages ago by now. It's really nothing new. So
Then why the hell
No
are they
idea.
advertising it?
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, let me
Mr.
just
Dan
get back to
Sand
that, and we're
says...
back.
Mr. Dan Sand says, been going on for a while, just read the first Gaunt's Ghost novel where the Gaunt meets a sister and she was towering behemoth circa 2005. So kind of like Resident Evil The Village.
Ah, yes. Gaunt's Ghost. Oh, we're gonna get to those beautiful bastards in a moment.
That reminds
But anyway,
speaking
yeah,
of
that's
towering, speaking of towering women, did you see the meme going around where someone found a fly swatter in Resident Evil Village?
Yep.
Okay, whoever put that in the game, God bless you, sir. You're a fucking legend. Capcom
God
clearly
bless you.
knew what was going to happen.
I mean, to be fair, they put her in the game to begin with, so why not? And I mean, did you see the scene where she is extracting bodily fluids?
I will. I haven't yet, but oh dear, oh dear.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so yeah, this Palatine hideous face. It looks like the eyes are bulging out of her skull. It looks like she has 3 lips. And
Yeah.
she's effectively just a Sister of Battle Lieutenant.
The eyes are also looking different directions too. Another little thing. Let's see.
Yep, that as well. But
She
anyway,
what she
after
looks.
that, we have...
She looks like she's a
Wait.
Neanderthal. Is what she looks like. Yeah, that's exactly what she looks like.
I was gonna say something Neanderthalic, but then my mind went completely blank.
Ooga booga.
So that joke... Wooga booga. Oh.
Let's see. AR says, I just tried to imagine Skeletor voice actor doing voice lines for the God Emperor of Mankind. Joke's on you, I'm into that shit. Oh dear, oh dear. Mr. Dansan says horny swatter. Akos Kovac says because Japan. Yeah, but God bless Japan sometimes. Orososium says you kill them like flies in Resident Evil 8. That is a manly man that gives no shits about no dead wife. Akos Kovac says Sisters of Battle, Order of the Bunga. Yep.
Oh, that's nice.
Alfaria says now. Alright, so next up we have some Celestian
These
Sacrosancts.
Yeah, and honestly, out of the new Sister Battle models, these I kind of like. However, I feel they only work with the power mauls. We've seen these models before. Oh, excuse me. Bit of bubbles. Except first time we saw they had the power halberd spear thingies, which I'm gonna the halberds themselves look alright, but the way it's the way shields like this work is they have that hole cut in them for a reason, and that's for when pretty much when you're defending or whatever. That hole is where you're supposed to put your polearm.
Okay.
However, that hole is kind of covered up with the barrel of the bolt pistol. And slash plasma pistol slash hand flamer. Making that hole entirely useless.
Yeah.
Oh, and also they all have random garden fencing on their power packs because reasons.
Mr. Dan San says we're going to Neanderthal, but mine returned to monkey. And Ursosium says these models work because they have most of their faces covered.
Yeah, I mean, I won't argue with that.
I mean, this one right here
oh,
does look a little derpy, but... Oh, what?
Yeah, ooga booga again. Yikes.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, let's see. It was this model. This one, yeah, it does look pretty derpy here. But I digress.
The one... That's the one pointing her bolt pistol shield thing out, yeah?
Anyways.
Yep, that's pretty ugly.
Speaking of...
So yeah, under that, we get to see the different pistol options. So you can go for either a bolt pistol, plasma pistol, or hand flamer. And you can go for a different shield option, which...
Hooray.
Meh. To be honest, I'm not the biggest fan of either of the shields. But I'll definitely say that the second shield option isn't very appealing to me. But I mean, that's just me.
Fair enough. Ursosium says, people say Scary Movie was a joke, but the part about the paper bag in Scary Movie 2 is fitting here. Akos Kovac says,
Meh.
5 out of 10, not enough organ pipes. IGN. So, how about we move on to the Paragon warsuits? Speaking of ugly.
Yeah, it's literally just the exact same issues as the Grey Knight's baby carrier.
Uh-huh.
Literally the same issues. Except this time, the pilot isn't in Terminator armor. Ugh. But yeah, I'm gonna say it. I would have preferred Sister of Battle Terminators over these disgusting suits.
You know what? At least it wouldn't be. At least the Terminator suits wouldn't have this stupid look where the Sisters of Battle are there, like, are just hanging around there outside like that. I do have to agree with you.
Yep. And it's even worse when they don't have their helmet on because... Okay, let's say they're fighting Trader Guardsmen. Some random-ass Trader Guardsman can just come up with a las gun and just pop one of them in the head from a couple meters away. And then what? That entire suit of whatever this is supposed to be is completely useless.
Well, the suit isn't useless, but the pilot now is, but yeah.
Well, it will be useless because the pilot is dead.
Get a new pilot.
And it doesn't look like it's an easy fit to get the pilot in and out, considering that the pilot's legs is in the suit's legs, but it's completely covered up, and it's just... Why?
Ursosim says, this is crap you'd see in a steampunk game, and they'd do it better. On that subject, we might be getting to a steampunk game. If this stream is short enough. But who knows?
I don't think this stream will be short at all.
Yeah.
Because this is only the second day's reveals.
Yeah, we're halfway through that, though, at least, so... Akos Kovac says, how'd she fit in it, though? She's have no legs or something. To be fair, I could legit see in the universe of 40k something like that as an acceptable requirement in certain circumstances. But, yeah.
Meh.
Prophet of Hashut says, and this is Tech Heresy. Agreed. I love how the Sisters of Battle, the new secret super weapon, is to have them look hanging around in this suit, like, as if they're going, Mommy, I want to slay heretics. Alfaria says, and she already... she already has a vegetable, I'm just making mashed potatoes. Oh, Alfaria says she was already a vegetable, I'm just making mashed potatoes. Ooh! Herdsman says their faith in the Emperor will cause the traitors to be unable to aim. I mean, I know that traitor guardsmen are notoriously incompetent, but... Adeptus Mechanicus says, just check if I can comment YouTube sex. Sorry to hear that you're having trouble commenting. But yeah, let's move on.
I'll say this. The one thing I like from these models is the swords and the power maul. It looks okay. However, it would be a waste of money to get this kit simply for those melee weapons. So I will not be touching these abominations anytime soon.
All right, and moving on.
But with that out of the way, we can continue to
The Castigator.
not the Castigator, the Sister of Battle Predator tank.
Okay.
You can call this you can call this whatever you want. It's a Predator tank. Period.
Yep. I mean,
And this is another example that further proves my point that Sisters of Battle are becoming female space marines because you have crap like this.
fair enough, but remember, this is what they use to talk about the also the brand spanking new, or what the nickname that they came up with for the. Well, actually, to be fair, it wasn't really their fault; it was us. But yeah, this was where we found out about the pipe organ cum temple.
Yep.
But I will give them that. That was legitimate misunderstanding on that. I still think it should be a nickname that gets inserted into the lore as a sort of nickname that traders have for that particular vehicle. But I digress.
But anyway, that's pretty much it for.
Let's see.
For the second day's model reviews. However, what they've decided to do now is.
Well, this is second day's video, as you said.
They've.
So
this is they've released a new Sisters of Battle Adept Sororitas Codex.
Okay.
Now this is not a nice thing because the first new Sister Battle Codex was released and we got it pretty much in the middle of lockdowns from last year. Meaning that not a lot of people got a chance to play Sisters of Battle with that codex. Like, the most, there was about 6 months that people could play with that codex. And now, they're deciding to release a new one. Completely superseding and making that old codex, well, old in quotations, codex completely and entirely useless. Wow, thanks Games Workshop. Big brain move once again.
Yep. Alright, so they're also showing another book called A Book of Fire called War of Charadon.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. The only other thing that's kind of interesting. The other things is just army dioramas and then a box of terrain, because that's something people care about. Well, that's something people must care about because terrain is an actual unit that you can field in 9th edition 40k.
I'm reminded of Ultima 3, where one of the final fights was the floor, and the floor started kicking your ass. That's what that reminds me of. But let me read some more of the comments here. Hidden Boss says, how bad the dust where the sun don't shine? Who knows? Alfari says, Giga Tech Heresy. Or Socium says, it's a tank from Advanced Wars from the Game Boy. Sorry, but that is what it is. I believe you are correct. Specifically, it is a medium tank from Advance Wars. Herdsman says, traders incompetent. Why does everyone, GW included, forget Biles' new men? Akos Kovac says, Cum Temple. Adeptus Mechanicus says, I thought Chaos had all the real women, but now Slaanesh look feminine. Haha, suck at YouTube. Gotta love the new bedazzled Predator. Okay. Alright, so with this all out of the way, let's go ahead and go to another story, I guess. I was going to do another reveal thing, but let's actually do something I think Xerius here will be interested in. latest news regarding the
Oh boy.
Wargame Red Dragon. Now this is admittedly from April 29th, and there's going to be another update soon regarding some of the new stuff you'll be seeing for the South Africans in their little expansion that they're getting. But this time it is the Air Force. Now the Air Force is going to be interesting. I do think... okay, so let's have a look here. So what you've got is... they've mentioned sabers, which are pretty old. Mirage 3 and English Electric Canberra and Blackburn Buccaneer. So some older planes from the looks of things. But they also do have some prototypes as well. It looks like built or made around the idea of the... let's see. The Impala and... Okay, so that's... Alright. So they do have some new... So they are going to have some interesting aircraft choices, as well as the Havilland Vampire, which is another thing that they've mentioned. The Vampire itself, if I remember correctly, is basically a jet from World War II. A British design from World War II. So it's going... so South Africa is going to have some older jets, admittedly. But they are going to have some experimental stuff that they themselves designed. And like I said, there's going to be a lot of Mirages that they really, really seem to like. So I do think it's going to be interesting to see how they turn out. I don't really think air superiority is going to be South Africa's specialty, but I do think there is an element that is going to be legitimately impressive as far as aircraft. But it's going to be some of their helicopters. I think that's South Africa's going to be good with, from what I'm seeing. Although that probably is going to be in the news drop that occurs this Thursday, if I remember correctly. So I believe it's pronounced the Revolk. If you want to correct me, feel free to do that. Which
Where is this word?
Here, I'll just copy it and paste it in for you. That word.
Ah, Royvolk.
The Royvolk.
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 Okay. So
Roy. You gotta roll that Roy.
Sorry, I don't roll the R very well. I do not roll the R very well. I will give you that. But it looks like that might be an interesting thing, because what it looks like is because South Africa is going to be a Blue 4 faction, and because they're also going to be, and that particular helicopter is probably going to be an armored gunship, which is something that isn't that common in Blue 4. If I remember correctly, I've actually been looking around just to double check, but the only Blue 4 nations that actually have proper armored gunships are the US, France, West Germany, Israel, and the Netherlands so far. And usually they are variants of either the Apache or the Tiger. And now, granted, Red 4 nations do typically have armored gunships. The only exceptions are China, Finland, and Yugoslavia. But yeah, it's typically a trait that you see with the Red 4 faction. So so it's usually a rare treat when a Blue 4 faction does get a proper armored gunship, and that is what we're going to be looking at here. The K-Car, which itself is interesting because it suggests that there's going to be some Rhodesian tech as well, because the K-Car was very specifically a Rhodesian design, if I'm not mistaken. Now there is going to be, you're also going to get the Atlas Carver, which is a prototype plane, which is going to be interesting. It's going to be one of the things that I am going to be looking at, because I do think it'll legitimately be so it is. It's a modern two-seat multi-role capable, of dealing with... So this is going to be their proper long-range anti-air aircraft, and probably also maybe a cluster bomber, or maybe an ATGM plane or something like that. So we'll probably get one or two variations of the Atlas Carver, I would say. They do have their own version, or variant of the Mirage that turned into the Cheetah C, and that's going to be interesting too, potentially. But yeah, I'm kind of curious to see where South Africa how it's going to play. I do think it's going to be. A lot of people are comparing it to the Anzacs, although I'm not entirely sure that's a fair comparison. For a start, South Africa does actually look like it's going to have some decent tanks, whereas the Anzacs are notoriously terrible when it comes to tanks in this game. The Anzacs are stuck exclusively. Their most advanced tank is the Leopard 1A5 AS variant, which has very paper-thin armor for what is supposed to be the most advanced tank for a nation. You're better off just using the Vickers Mark 11, which is just a wheeled tank destroyer, than the actual tank on that case. But these guys do have the TTD, which looks like it's going to be a proper modern main battle tank. And they also, although it's going to be an experimental one, they might actually get multiple variants, who knows. They are where the South Africans are going to be very similar, of course, is the vehicle department, because it's going to be a lot of relatively fast wheeled vehicles that they specialize in. Curiously, they do have proper SPOG as well, which is something else that the Anzacs lack, which is why I don't really think it's a particularly good comparison. I would say probably from what I'm seeing that the South Australians are probably going to be this weird mixture of basically playing similar between something in between Israel and South Korea, I would say, is what they're going to be more like myself. I am curious to see how the infantry play out, though. That is going to be the big make or break, I think, along with the helicopter. Because if the infantry is good, then yeah, then that'll be even more interesting there. But you never know. What are your thoughts, Zeus?
Well, I mean, it's good to see that South Africa is getting a bit of recognition. Of course, I can't really say much on the war front, because I haven't read that much on our past within war technology and stuff. Though apparently, we used to have a pretty good military.
Yeah.
Until South Africa became modern South Africa, and
I will say this.
Oh, sorry. I will say this, however, I am somewhat inspired right now, because I'm just looking at the Roycat,
mm-hmm.
and the Roycat wheeled tank.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of want to make something similar to this for a Horus Heresy militia army. Or even just a Space Marine tank inspired by this. I like this design. I want to make something like this now.
I will say this, if you've never played a Wargame Red Dragon and you want a proper in-depth real-time tactics game, you are really missing out if you haven't played it. I will say that. This game is absolutely kick-ass. Actually, looking at it again and having a look at some of the stuff that they have access to, I will say that I can already see at least one anti-tank weapon that the infantry will have access to that is absolutely glorious, and that is the Appalass. And I know it's glorious because I'm pretty sure it's the same thing that the Finns use, and it's the thing that makes the Finns famous, the Finnish infantry in the game, famous for killing tanks. So that is actually a very promising sign. The mini SSMG, okay, if that is going to be a CQC, maybe similar to how the Anzac regular line infantry works, that could also be interesting. And it also looks like they get a grenade launcher as a potential weapon for infantry, so that can also really, they're good at killing tanks and infantry. That will be genuinely interesting as well. So yeah, it looks like though they already have paratroopers, various types of special forces, and a lot of elite stuff there. So I do think the infantry is something I'm going to be keeping an eye on for them. This is a DLC that when I find out when it's coming out, I will be picking it up. I will guarantee you that, because I'm probably going to be doing an Ace impressions of this as well. I've played enough Red Dragon to know where most stuff is going to fit gameplay-wise. I do kind of wish they would give it a brand new campaign because these days you can only really play anything new skirmish-wise. But even then, this still looks like it's going to be a ton of fun, and skirmish is still strong in its own right. Also, I am kind of curious, admittedly, about what sort of coalition they can do with South Africa. If it's going to be completely self on its own, or if you can do a coalition with another nation, which is another thing they introduced in Red Dragon. I'm kind of admittedly hoping that they, as weird as it sounds, if they somehow got a South Africa-Dutch coalition, that would be a pretty interesting combo, I think. But I do not know what or if they will have a coalition, so who knows. Anyways, so I think that's all I have to say about that. Would you like to talk about day 3 now of the fun times to be had with Games Workshop? Orososium says, the Air Force. I have beautiful memories of COD 1 and dropping planes on my friends because I sucked at balls at flying. Akos Kovac says, I kit bashed my terrain from paper, beer can, and old shoes. Honestly, so long as you keep it dusted, it would still probably look better than some of the stuff from Games Workshop. Adeptus Mechanicus Tech says, I got to love the new bit. Okay, so I've already read that. Now we get to read about day 3. Hooray.
Yeah, and here we have the
Gaunt's
Ghosts. And I must say, they do look nice.
Mm-hmm.
So first and foremost, we of course have Gaunt himself, which... okay. First of all, the hands are way too massive in comparison to everything else in this dude's body.
I like how the dude's hands are as big as his head. That is quite impressive.
Yeah, and his arms look skinny because of it. Like, really skinny. And also, look at what's going on with his legs. It looks like he's trying to make a cool pose, but at the same time, he really needs to piss.
It also looks like it's going down his leg, and it's ending up as the slime at the bottom of that rock, too.
Oh, jeez. Yep.
You're never going to unsee that now.
No. But anyway, I mean, other than the legs and the hands, Gaunt himself looks alright.
Mm-hmm.
Moving on, we have Colonel Com Korbeck, which... Oh, excuse me. Wow, that's one buff dude.
Mm-hmm.
He almost looks like Chuck Norris, but with longer hair.
Yeah.
One thing I do like about this model is the lasgun he's got has some wood patterning on it.
Mm-hmm.
And the bayonet is properly affixed. It looks lovely. I love it. It looks very nice. Overall, for this guy, he looks nice. Moving on, we got Major Ilum Rain. Rarn. I don't know. Oh. This dude's face. Just... No. You know what he looks like? He looks like a failed Clone Wars clone.
He looks like what you would see from
those dudes.
He looks like one of the character designs that DICE came up with for Battlefield 5. He looks like he would fit in that, is what it looks like. Orososium says Gaunt is a mutant. Oh wait, no, the mutant was the designer. Still not the worst miniature from GW though. Nope.
Nice. Also, yet another case of worms for hair.
Well, of course.
Because apparently Games Workshop can't sculpt hair anymore.
Brother Kakil says, well, I missed basically the whole stream, it seems. Well, we still have, maybe another half hour or so left, at least, I would say.
I don't know. This particular reveal will be very quick because
Okay.
it's literally just ghosts, a couple books, and some dumb merchandise no one cares about.
Okay.
So yeah, that was that dude. Yeah, he's alright. Then we have Master Sniper Helene Larkin, which yeah, it looks alright. It looks
Yeah,
alright.
yeah. I can.
Again with the wood patterning on the long las, very nice to see. The facial expression, at least from this angle, looks a bit weird. Like it almost looks like his face is squished in.
Mm.
Also, now I'm not sure if you noticed this or not, but no Games Workshop model, whether it be modeled or painted, has eyebrows.
Mm.
Literally, no one has eyebrows. For some reason, no one has eyebrows.
Well, don't you know
Why?
that? Well, don't you know that an orc could grab a hold of your eyebrows and hold you there while it just goes to work with that chopper?
Yep. But yeah, this sniper dude, yeah, it looks alright. He Okay, here's another compliment I will give this band of dudes. Unlike some particular Space Marine stuff, these dudes do not have a whole lot of random metal clanky stuff all over them.
Mm.
They actually look like they could feasibly be stealthy dudes.
They look practical.
And that's what yeah, practicality. That is nice about these. I like that. Right.
All right, so Brother Calcul
Sniper
says, and I start with a grammatical error. Nice. Or Socium says, let's not speak of Star Wars. Didn't the snowflakes now talk shit because we need clone representation? Or wait, my head.
I saw something about that. And I immediately scrolled past it. Let's please not go to that topic.
I mean, I do have something Star Wars related to talk about, but... But we can get through that after. All right.
Yeah, let's just carry on.
So we got another dude here.
So next we have Try Again Bragg, which, yeah, he looks cool with his autocannon. Nice buff dude. Very. Nah, I'd say it looks okay.
Yeah, I'd say it looks alright.
Yeah, it looks okay. That's about it. That's pretty much all I can say for this.
Alright.
Okay, next one, Sergeant Scout Owen McCall. Yeah, I like this dude. Yeah, he looks cool. Again with he's got a nice wooden stock for his las gun. Very stylish. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of these dudes are kind of just okay, to me the trees the way it's been painted feels very out of place.
The tree looks very fake.
No. I mean, the tree itself looks like it's supposed to be in a swamp, but the rest of the base is painted like just a regular dirt field.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
it
that's a
doesn't
little
really
silly.
feel like they're in a swamp. But I mean, yeah, for the most part, this sergeant guy, he looks nice. I would honestly definitely buy these guys.
And so they also, moving on from that,
it's merchandise, book, more dumb merchandise, some other book.
A
Some
bookmark?
other merchandise.
Wait, a bookmark is merchandise now.
I mean, do you see the fancy Aquila with the sword thing? I don't know. I would count that as random merchandise.
I mean, you realize, though, I typically just use a napkin or something as a bookmark.
I just use a random piece of paper.
Yeah.
Probably just we call them slips. Receipt.
Yep.
Sometimes we just use a receipt as a bookmark. But then after that we have another book.
Just a whole bunch of books.
And then okay, here is the one Horus Heresy release that we got. A book with the Khan in it. The Siege of Terra. Warhawk.
Mm-hmm.
And that's about it. Oh, and of course, these idiots decided to, for some reason, use Mortarian's 40k model in the Horus Heresy.
Of course.
Really, bunch of dumbasses. And then everything after that is pretty much just books, and more books.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, Day 3's release was Black Library, a bit of merchandise, and 6 models. And that's pretty much it.
Okay, so
all in all, a generally underwhelming reveal day.
So, here's the news. Here's my next story for you. We did mention Star Wars. Say its name 3 times and it will appear.
Oh no, what happened? What happened now?
So here's the news. It's going to be a short news. There's been some Star Wars leaks. More video games coming apparently have been pitched to Disney. Now, the good news, there's still rumors that there's going to be a Knights of the Old Republic in the works. Unfortunately, the other part of the rumors is that we are getting, well, there is also another bit of good news. The Mandalorian is also in the works. Bad news. There's a High Republic video game that's presumably going to be in the works.
Disgusting.
So what are we so apparently we're going to be able to play as Geode.
Yay. How riveting. I am so excited to play a rock. Though, to be honest, that would probably be a lot more interesting and entertaining than playing as Rey in any other game.
For one thing, The Rock has more character. There apparently is going to be a Jedi Fallen Order 2 as well that could be in development, and there's a possible 5th game made by Microsoft. Now, Microsoft, that could be a little bit interesting, but... Well, Microsoft, to its credit, right, has been legitimately experimenting a little bit with the genres that it makes. But... So I will give Microsoft credit where it's due. They're still not perfect. They still do some scummy stuff. But they are still willing to branch out a little bit more. So I'm kind of in a relative... Of the publishers, the major publishers out there right now, Microsoft seems like the least evil of the whole bunch. But at least when it comes to Western publishers. But that's not exactly saying a whole lot right now. Okay, so Herdsman says, trim that tree away and replace the tactile tree with a dead grot and another human or another being choked out. Deptus Mechanica says, still hate the terrain crap. Orososium says, Star Wars, we lose money so you hate us as we destroy your childhood. That is exactly how it feels like these days.
Sounds about right.
So I take it, Xerius, you watched the live stream that me and Osmogon have done with the latest High Republic adventures.
I did, in fact, not.
It was bad enough that it broke Osmogon, very similar to how Marnius Calgar's ending broke Osmogon, in fact.
Oh yeah. Okay. That clip I did see. Sussus Amogus moment. Yep.
After
That
that,
was honestly very painful. That was painful to watch, and I feel bad for everyone involved.
well, not the people that wrote the comic. I don't feel bad for them,
Oh, obviously not. Obviously not.
but I do feel bad for the people that had to read the comic. Although it seems a little bit self-aggrandizing a bit. Anyways, Adeptus Mechanicus Tech says, Microsoft, I only care about money. I mean, you're not entirely wrong, but if they're willing to actually sit there and say, well, look, trying to make every game accessible to everyone isn't really working, so maybe we should start making some simulators and strategy games again. Given that that appears to be Microsoft's attitude as of late, I will say that they are doing far better than most other publishers, right? So when's the last time you've actually seen another major publisher, Western publisher, decide we're going to make a brand new RTS or we're going to make a brand new simulation game? I cannot think of a single other major Western publisher that's doing that. The only ones I can think of, aside from Microsoft, that are doing that are in places like Russia. Like 1C is making a new IL-2 Sturmovik game, for example. But you're not seeing it from Western developers, from Western publishers. At least not from the AAA. So Microsoft is kind of sticking out just by not being as crap in this regard as other publishers. We might legitimately get a proper... We could get all kinds of things with this if Microsoft could potentially make any kind of... Imagine a mech simulator, only you're playing with an AT-AT and ATSTs. That could be legitimately interesting, right? And Microsoft is right now potentially, at least in theory, willing to make that kind of game. I mean, they did publish MechWarrior 5, although admittedly, MechWarrior 5 hasn't actually been the highlight of the franchise, we'll say, certainly. Thank you for it being an Epic Games exclusive, and also fuck the idiot that decided that would be a good idea, even if it was a limited time exclusive, but yeah. Adeptus Mechanicus Tech says, original idea, go on. But yeah, point is, Microsoft is actually starting to legitimately get back into certain genres that AAA publishers had just for decades assumed were dead and just not worth it. So that's why they're not as bad right now as most of the other Western publishers. But I'm getting onto a tangent. But yeah, all I really wanted to point out was really the fact... Now, the Mandalorian thing could be interesting, but the High Republic, I mean... High Republic's already tainted by the stuff that is already coming out for it. The only good thing that I could see potentially from this is that it could be that there could be a new official Knights of the Old Republic, which means that the High Republic hasn't actually murdered that timeline. So that's the one good thing I can think of right now about this whole situation, that and the Mandalorian. But that's really all I have to say. So I guess day 3 was done, so let's talk about day 4 of Warhammer.
Indeed. And day 4 had one of the biggest slaps to the Warhammer community that we have seen in a good while. But we'll get to that.
I mean, is it worse than Warhammer is for everyone but?
Well, for the actual hobby part of it, it is actually it is a pretty big slap to the face. But we'll get to that soon enough.
Hertzman says Hertzman says maybe we can get a good RTS again or a remake of Empire War. You know what? I could legitimately see, to a certain degree, Microsoft making an RTS also, to a limited degree. But yeah, anyways, let's go on. So Warhammer Underworld's Dire Chasm, apparently.
Idoneth Deepkin yet again. Now, personally, me and quite a few other people don't like the aesthetic of the Idoneth Deepkin, you know, this whole underwater sea creature vibe they got going on. On paper, it sounds really cool, but the way Games Workshop are executing it, it just looks horrible. It looks not very nice. The first dude we got here, he looks mediocre. That's pretty much all I can say on it. Yeah, well, that's not important. The ones next to it, the fish and the crab. Oh boy, people got excited when they saw this crab. People really like this crab, and I don't know why. But I mean, I suppose crab.
I mean,
Whatever.
I'm kind of with kind of trying to keep in some Oblivion memes along the lines of "I've fought mud crabs more fearsome than you."
I mean, he looks scarier than any of these other models, to be fair.
Yeah, I mean the fish looks like something out of a Zelda game. Is what it looks like. I know exactly what it looks like. It looks like Georg, which is the third boss from Majora's Mask. That's what it looks like. That's what it was reminding me of. And I absolutely of the bosses.
I'm trying to remember what it looks like.
Oh, here, let me just put a link up. But you're going when I show you what Georg looks like, you're going to go, "Oh yeah, I remember that. That is exactly what this looks like." All right, I found a link. Amusing considering we're talking about a Zelda game, but I digress.
Big funny.
All right,
But
so
yeah, it's safe to say that
here we
there
are.
were
Here we are.
a
Check
lot
the
of-
okay. Check the comments. I just sent it in so you can actually look at a image.
Yeah, it kind of does. Kinda. It more has to do with the face and the tail.
Also, the fact that both
Yeah,
of them
I can kind of see it.
Also, the fact that both of them kind of have a mechanical look to them.
Yeah, it does have that semi-mechanical vibe going on.
All right, so Orsosium says, "Giant enemy crab, attack its weak point." Alfaria says, "I've fought mud crabs more fierce than you." Orsosium says, "Yes, for massive damage." Alfaria says, "Oh crap, he just did it." Akos Kovac says, "Embrace crab." Herdsman says, "Meyer lurks in AOS." Alfaria says, "Skyrim is AOS when Todd." All right, now. So let's move on to the next
moving
model.
on to this the spear guy. I don't know what's going on with his head. I have no idea what I'm supposed to be looking at here. The pose also feels very weak. Like, to me, it just doesn't feel like he's about to throw the spear. It just looks like he's
Well, yeah, he is.
standing there and he's got a spear.
He's about to throw it because that's a harpoon.
Yeah, but to me, it doesn't feel like he's about to throw it. It just feels like he's holding it there. But that's just the way I'm getting the vibe off of it.
Okay.
All in all, mediocre. The next one, honestly, this is the most interesting out of them, and that's purely because of the sword. I like the look of that sword.
The armor
That's
doesn't
about
seem too bad as far as design, although there are gaps everywhere, but yeah.
A little bit. But yeah, I like the sword. It looks alright. Although I am getting quite a big 300 vibe from this chick. I don't know what it is, but I just get that vibe.
I think part of it is the shield design, maybe.
Yeah, I can see that.
I think part of it is the shield design, maybe. I think part of it is the shield design, maybe. I think part of it is the shield design, maybe. I think part of it is the shield design, maybe. I think part of it is the shield design, maybe. I think part of it is the shield design, maybe. I think part of it is the shield design, maybe. I think part of it is the shield design, maybe. I think part of it is the shield design, maybe. I think part of it is the shield design, maybe. I think part of it is the shield design, maybe. I think part of it is the shield design, maybe. I think part of it is the shield design, maybe. I think part of it is the shield design, maybe. I think part of it is the shield design, maybe. I think part of it is the shield design, maybe. I think part of it is the shield design, maybe. I think part of it is the shield design, maybe. I think part of it is the shield design, maybe. I think part of it is the shield design, maybe. I think part of it is the shield design
Yeah, and the shape of the sword.
And the hat, or the helmet. That's the
Yeah.
3 things. Alright. So,
Yeah. Well, anyway, let's move on.
to
Yeah, we got some
Necromunda.
Necromunda Delic stuff. They look okay. However, the one thing that I cannot get past is... Oh, hello, cat. Especially from the first 2 dudes, the left guy looks like he has that armor for the claws, and the claws themselves look like they're taken right out of Star Wars.
I know, no, I know what it
drones.
looks like. It looks like the claws that Shredder has from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Oh god, it does. It does. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, that's just great.
Oh my god, I just noticed the face mask kind of looks like that front face mask. Not the helmet, but the face mask that Shredder has too.
Yep.
Oh!
Yep.
We now see the inspiration for this particular
I
model.
can see it now.
Those blasted turtles!
Oh.
They stole my helmet, Crane. Now everyone will know I don't actually go tanning.
Yeah, that sounds about right. That sounds about right. Right, well, moving on from those 2 dudes. Right, now we have these 2 dudes, which, yeah, the left dude, what the hell is that face?
Okay, I take it back. You remember when I said that the Sisters of Battle in their stupid new armor looks kind of like the mutant from
Booga Booga?
Total Roy? No, the Sisters of Battle in their stupid new armor looks like the mutant dude from Total Recall sticking out of the guy's gut. That looks like the mutant dude sticking out of the guy's gut from Total Recall.
Who wore it better? The dude from Total Recall, this dude, or the Sisters of Battle war suits?
My god, we're going to have a 3-way with that particular meme. Oh god, I just realized what I just
we don't
said.
have a 4-way. Shush. Yeah. I don't like this guy's pose.
Or not
Can
face
you
off
tell
Total Recall.
why?
Total Recall.
Can you tell why I don't like this dude's pose?
The one on the left or right?
Left.
I mean, it looks like he's trying to dance and strike a pose.
Okay, well, that to some extent, but for the most part, it looks like he tried to do a cool jump and a cool landing, but completely missed his chance, and now is currently about to face plant, and it's going to be very painful.
Okay. By the way, for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, there's an image in the chat for you to see what the mutant from Total Recall even looks like. Just for reference.
Yeah, I should also. Oh, that is hideous. But also, yes. Yep, that's accurate.
I mean, yeah, that's what the Sisters of Battle in this dude look like.
Yeah, that's pretty ugly. Well, anyway, that's those dudes. Next up, we have a snake and a flying tentacle brain demogody.
Why?
Now, this feels very out of place for Necromunda, especially this flying tentacle thing.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you know where this flying tentacle thing with the brain would look good in? This would look perfect for it's a sort of towel extension. You know, they're supposed to have all these other alien races under their flag. I think this would work perfectly for that.
I was going to say it was going to look more fitting in Dead Space than Warhammer, but yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, I mean that as well. But yeah, that's Necromunda stuff, and of course, trailer for Necromunda Hired Gun. And here we go to the massive slap in the face.
Aeronautica Imperialis.
Okay, so for context, we have had the Risen Thunderhawk kit from Forge World for a good while now. And it is no secret that it is quite pricey. And people have been begging for plastic Thunderhawk kit for quite a while. So, when people saw this, plastic Thunderhawk gunships, they were excited. And then they decided to then they slap us in the face and show it's for Aeronautica Imperialis. Wow. Thanks, Games Workshop. Thanks. But then again, what were we expecting? Also, yay. More models for a game. What, 3 people in the world play? Seriously, who the hell plays this? Why? Why must you be like this? Just why? And you think, here's the thing as well. They can make a plastic Thunderhawk gunship kit. This stuff is designed in CAD, okay? It's digitally sculpted, quote unquote. Meaning that they can literally just take this model, completely full scale it up, chop it up, and there you go. Plastic Thunderhawk gunship kit. But no, instead it's got to be for Aeronautica Imperialis, a game no one cares about.
Of course.
It's quite the slap. It's quite the big slap to the face.
All right, so that is day 4. I guess I can do
day 4. Yes.
Yeah, I guess I could do another story while we're at it. We've got 2 more stories left for me, so technically 3, but really 2. Anyway, so let me read some of the comments. Orsosium says, "Look, The Matrix and Mecha Tremors." Orsosium says, "What the fuck has happened to Necromunda?" Akos Kovac says, "Looked like it's made by Dark Eldar." Yeah, I could legit see a Dark Eldar doing something like that too, now that you mentioned it. Hertzman says, "That frying brain is more brain than..."
Actually, yes.
Hertzman says, "That flying brain is more brain than they have shown concerning the Thunderhawk troll."
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I mean, if it was on an April Fool's thing, maybe it wouldn't have been as bad, but yeah. So, let me get into something a little bit different. Technically, this is going to be 2 things here real quick, but it's a trailer and the page, so I can show you what to expect. So, a new...
Iron Harvest.
Yes, Iron Harvest is getting a brand new expansion of sorts, or a brand new DLC called Operation Eagle. So I'll go ahead and watch the trailer.
Peggy 16.
Watch me get content ID'd for you. Watch me
get some water real quick.
Alright, so while I do this, just watch me get content ID'd for a song that came out in 1918. Because of course, right, YouTube? So yeah, we are getting a brand new expansion pack on the 27th of this month for Iron Harvest. This actually genuinely looks interesting in my opinion. And I hear Xerius is back with us. Or it kind of sounds like he is. DY says that airship is way too much of a leap for me. I mean, to be fair, have you seen some of the other stuff that is in Iron Harvest? It's actually not as ridiculous as some of the mech designs, I would say. I could legit see something like that in this particular universe of game. Alfaria says, now we are red alerting them. Robert Chalk says, that looks dope as fuck. Indeed it does. Prophet of Hazhut says, America. But yeah, considering some of the other stuff that is in Iron Harvest, this isn't really pushing that much ridiculousness. In fact, let me show you from one of the earlier trailers of Iron Harvest. I think it's this trailer. Nope, not that trailer. Maybe the launch trailer? Not that one either. Well, anyways, one of the trailers showed off just how ridiculously big some of the mech designs are in faction. A whole bunch of new units for existing factions in a brand new campaign for $20. I legitimately think that's actually a good deal, in my opinion. This does look like a classic RTS expansion pack, is what it looks like to me. So this one does legitimately have me somewhat interested. I'm curious to see how this plays, and I will also be probably picking this thing up to do an Ace Impressions on. So yeah, what are your thoughts on it, Xerius?
I have no idea, but I'm sure that it'll be interesting.
Best way for me to describe it is imagine if Dawn of War 1 was set in an alternate history in 1920.
Oh, that sounds interesting.
Yeah. The Prophet of Hazhut says, honestly, wouldn't it make sense that the Americans build airships? After all, Navy has been our strong point. Curiously enough, in the 1930s, the United States Navy did legitimately build at least 2 aircraft carrier airships. So airships were a thing in the U.S., at least in the 30s. Admittedly, I will say that by the time of 1920, it was mainly... The U.S. wasn't as big of an innovator at that point in airship technology, specifically as, say, nations such as Britain or Germany. But yeah, by 1930s, that was definitely the case. And also, this is alternate history, so you can make some changes. I mean, this is a game with mechs in it, after all. And you're seeing helicopters and stuff like that. So there's going to be multiple types of air units, too, per faction, presumably. Prophet of Hazhut says... Okay, so Alfaria says reverse red alert. Correct, actually. Correct. Legitimately correct. Orosocian says, holy fuck, expansions still exist somewhat. I know. Miracles do sometimes happen. Isn't it wonderful? So I will be legitimately curious to see just how this goes. Apparently, we're looking at 30 new units as well, so it's cool. I legitimately think this is going to go somewhere. What do you think?
I don't know. It definitely sounds interesting. That's for sure.
All right. So
also, I've completely forgotten what an expansion pack is, or expansion, or whatever.
Do you need me to explain it to you, or?
Yes, please.
Expansion pack is basically enough content that it could actually technically be legitimate. It could actually be enough to, in theory, be its own separate game at that point. Albeit a smaller game at a cheaper price than a full release. So, for example, a game that is $40 might get a $20 expansion pack.
Oh, okay. Now, yeah, yep. Now I remember. It's
And
it's the same. It's the same thing. The same deal with the Half-Life expansions.
yeah. Usually, with an expansion pack, you can expect a campaign, maybe a new faction, and some new weapons as well thrown in. Well, okay, you're guaranteed to get new weapons, of course, and stuff like that, but Shivering Isles, as an example, says Alfarius. Correct. Another really good example would be Red Alert 2 Yuri's Revenge, where they added in Yuri as a brand new faction, 2 brand new campaigns, and of course with new faction, new units for all sides as well as even some new tech buildings and some new secret stuff as well here and there. Another really good example of an expansion pack. General Zero Hour added in, actually, now that I think, General Zero Hour added in 3 campaigns, the challenge thing, which you could argue is a 4th campaign of sorts, and then specialty generals for all 3 of the factions, so you now had, well, you actually had 12 factions in theory. The base versions of the factions, and then 3 specialties each. So that was quite the expansion indeed there. And even then, you still had new units to play with. Alfaria says Blood Moon for Morrowind. Correct. So, in other words, with an expansion pack, you legitimately got quite a decent bang for your buck. It's not like with DLC, where you get a shell of a game and then get stuff just tacked on later. These were full... This was a case where... This was a case where you basically had a full, complete game right from the get-go, and then got extra stuff added on later that felt like natural extensions, but didn't feel like they were necessary to the original story or game. Or Associum says StarCraft 1's expansion was nice. Well, the final expansion was nice. The final expansion, which was Brood War, was nice. There was actually several expansions for StarCraft 1, but everyone only remembers Brood Wars because the other expansions were admittedly crap, but that just means that they had a whole bunch of new missions and not really a whole lot else. Still more than what you can expect from a DLC today, though, definitely. But anyways, what you have now for DLC is what back then were called booster packs. Like with Battlefield 2 having booster packs, and even those tend to still have more content than your regular DLC. Those are kind of a middleman. Anyways, I'm getting on to a tangent there, so sorry. But, yeah, let's talk about the Day 5 of Warhammer, shall we?
Oh, indeed.
It looks like we got some stuff for the boys.
Yeah. However, it's not as exciting as one might expect.
Okay.
Yes, we technically have a new boys kit.
Mm-hmm.
However, it literally just feels like they took the Age of Sigmar orcs and slapped a bunch of guns and metal bits onto them.
You know what? Not only do I think you're right,
heck?
I think
it feels...
Some of these models are even in the exact same poses as the Age of Sigmar equivalent, from what I'm seeing.
Yeah, to some extent.
At least I'm not noticing any dust on these models yet.
Yeah. But, yeah, I'm... personally, I'm not a big fan of them. Because they don't feel like 40k orcs. Period. Or... They feel like Age of Sigmar orcs. Or if you really want to go to 40k orcs, they feel exclusively snakebitesy. Yeah, you know, that tribal clan of orcs. It's just disappointing. And of course, you got the big ass squig beast ridey things that feel the most Age of Sigmar-y. And then you got this character, Zodgrod or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
The one good thing I'll say about this model is the skin and muscles are sculpted correctly. You know, it's not just a bunch of random orbs shoved into places where they shouldn't be like the other ones. It feels like actual muscle, old skin. It feels nice.
Mm-hmm.
However, that said, the hair, yes, I know it's a squig. The hair feels it doesn't look or feel like hair at all. It just looks like he has a big ass spider tarantula tentacle thing on his head instead of a hair squig.
Yeah, it even looks like the spider is digging its teeth into his brain.
Yeah. It's really it's just disappointing.
Mm-hmm.
And then after that, oh, apparently that's the new Codex Orcs.
Mm-hmm.
I suppose that's alright. And then you get this the boss in Mega Armor. Yeah, Mega Armored War Boss. Now, I think this is hindered more by the paint scheme than the actual model itself, because this feels way too symmetrical for me.
Mm.
Like, it does not feel orky enough. Because orky stuff is supposed to be ramshackled and kind of random. And I mean, this is kind of that to some degree. However, the way they've painted it up, you know, completely flat black, it doesn't look ramshackled and random.
Mm.
Hello, cat. And yeah, it just doesn't feel right to me.
All right.
Oh, and of course, there's a random mold line on one of those exhausts. I just noticed. Specifically the one the Grot is standing on. So yeah, congratulations, Games Workshop. You still can't clean mold lines properly.
Hooray.
Yeah, so after that, we have the new Imperial Guard upgrade sprue. Because they're too lazy to redo the old Imperial Guard infantry kit.
Mm-hmm.
Yay. I can skip those ones and go directly to the heads. So, we have a decent variety of heads. However, the one everyone's paying the most attention to is the dude with the balaclava. Except everyone, come on. We all know what it actually is. Us men of culture know exactly what it is and where it came from.
Okay.
Hold on, I'll send you a meme. If
Yes, I know exactly where it is. Yep. Yep. You don't have to send it.
There
I know
it is.
exactly what it is.
I'm gonna send it anyway.
No, that will get this video demonetized, maybe, and I don't want to risk it. To be fair, I could legit see that particular sort of scenario happening in Warhammer 40k. What with all the authoritarian rules in some of these worlds.
I suppose.
I'm calling it now.
Yeah.
That particular anime was secretly set in Warhammer 40k, and we just didn't realize it.
Nice. But yeah. So we finally have official female Imperial Guard heads.
Hooray!
Although that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 female heads, maybe 7 or 8 if you include some of these other helmeted options. However, some of them are a bit too ambiguous as to what their gender is. And of course, we all know how much people care about gender representation, so yeah, that's nice. But yeah, I myself am kind of tempted to get this box purely because of that one dude with the toasty little something on his face. Oh, and you know I am going to go with teal stripes. Yeah, that's that. And then we... Oh, Jesus. I just noticed something.
What?
It has to do with the weapons.
Yes.
Oh, wow. You can still see the striations from the 3D printing process
Ah!
on these weapons.
Yeah.
Specifically, look at the melter gun barrel.
Yeah.
Wow. Way to go, Games Workshop. You screwed up again. But yeah, I do like the fact that there is a long las. I do like that. I do, however, not like the fact that, of course, you can see the 3D striations all over these weapons. Yeah, that's just not...
That's cursed.
Nice. And then there's a trailer for something, and then that's literally it for day 5.
All right.
That is quite literally it.
Well, I have one more story I guess I can go through, and then we can go through if there's anything left for you.
While you do that, I'm going to quickly mute you so I can watch this trailer, because I haven't actually watched it yet. So
the trailer for... Okay.
Yeah, for whatever this new psychic storm thing is. So yeah, I'm gonna mute you and then I'm gonna watch that.
I'm gonna have a look at it myself here real quick. Apparently I better unmute it. Okay. Well, I watched it myself, and yeah, all right then. Robert Chalk says, "I love how they finally get."
Yeah, that trailer said absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
That was useless and pointless.
Yep. So Robert Chalk, so kind of like the Thunderhawks for from day 4, huh?
Yep.
Orosocium says...
pretty much exactly like that.
Robert Chalk, okay. So Robert Chalk says, I love how they finally gave Imperial Guard the ability to model stuff that's been in the rules for forever. Orosocium says, orcs shove things where they shouldn't be all the time, though. Not a defense for the makers, just a fact. Robert Chalk says, the goggles and face mask look weird. All right. So here's the final story that I have on my end, really. Music artist leaked Battlefield 2021 teaser, says trailer is coming this week. Now, let's be honest, the Battlefield the leaks with regards to the new Battlefield game have been insane in just how many of them there have been. There have been screen caps of the trailer that have been leaked already that show that it is a modern setting. The audio has been leaked in its entirety, from what I understand. And now this guy says it is coming this week. So yeah, the leaks for this game have been nothing short of insane already. The chances are we might actually see someone leak the official trailer before EA actually puts it out, if they keep delaying for much longer. I mean, they've already leaked the audio. It's only a matter of time before, and they've already leaked some images, still images. It's only a matter of time before the full proper trailer comes out at this point. So all I'm saying is EA had better quit stalling on that. I will say this. The game itself, this new Battlefield game, it had better blow everything out of the water right out the gate. It had better be one of the best goddamn Battlefield games of all time, given just how much of a absolute waste of time that Battlefield 5 turned out to be. Battlefield 5 was one of the biggest disasters in the franchise's entire history. I would even go so far as to say it's the worst game in the franchise as well. And that is... Yeah, it was such a massive mess. And the fact that these people... so Battlefield, the new Battlefield, Battlefield 6, or as it's apparently being called, is just Battlefield, to apparently confuse absolutely everyone, had better be one of the best games that DICE has ever made at this point, just because of how bad Battlefield 5 was. Alferi says, what if it was an inside job to build hype? Maybe. But really, at this point, it's not so much hype that I have as curiosity as to whether or not the franchise is still going to survive after the absolute disaster piece that was Battlefield 5. Mr. Dansen says, Battlefield back to Baghdad. Better have Space Force representation. Honestly, I've heard rumors that it legitimately and unironically might. Because there's rumors that one of the reasons that the trailer has been delayed a bit, one of the rumors is, you heard about the rocket that China sent up into space and crashed into the Indian Ocean, and they were worried where it was going to land?
I have not.
Alright, so China sent up a rocket into space and lost track of where it was, because China, and apparently there was very real fear that it might crash into New York or something. So, I mean...
Oh, if only.
Yeah, it would be only... to be fair, let's be honest, the UN building is there. So at least there was the prospect of China managing to piss off absolutely everyone yet again. But I digress. Anyway, joking aside, and everyone let that be known, that was just a joke. That was not actually me being serious or anything. There was concerns apparently that had it actually crashed into something and caused damage, that having a trailer where a rocket or a satellite or something crashes into the ground and does some damage might, right as that happened in real life, might not be the best call, apparently. So apparently there was rumors that might have been why it was delayed. Now again, we do have the audio leaks already out, so I haven't actually heard it in full yet, but who knows. It might be possible, as far as I know, that might have had something to do with it. Robert Chalk says, was a huge Battlefield fan starting with first Bad Company. They told me not to buy 5. I didn't buy 5. Yeah, that's the advice I took. And the thing is, I've been a Battlefield fan. My first Battlefield game was the first Battlefield game, right? So I've actually played the very... In fact, technically, if you wanted to get into it, my first Battlefield game was technically codenamed Eagle, aka Battlefield 0. The game that led to the Battlefield franchise, if you really wanted to get into that. So, yeah, I've been in it for a while. Battlefield 5, I have refused to buy because of the absolute dumpster fire it was. DY says, the new Battlefield is in modern setting again, though. That means there's nothing to be stunning and brave about. It might be near future, but yeah, there is nothing really to be stunning and brave about. So hopefully they won't focus on it this time. Orososium says, China set up us, the bomb. I love that reference. But, yeah. So we are probably going to get, along with the Total War Warhammer 3 reveal and hopefully the Beastman DLC reveal and whatever the pre-order bonus is going to be for that, we are also looking to get the reveal for the new Battlefield, along, of course, with more news regarding the Wargame Red Dragon South Africa DLC. So all in all, there's a lot to be keeping an eye on for this week. But yeah, that's my final little story there. So, Xerius, is there anything else you want to bring up?
Oh yes. The final day of Warhammer Fest.
Hooray!
And this was supposed to be the big, mysterious, super special reveal. And the reveal is the 3rd edition of Age of Sigmar.
Yay!
Wow. Wow.
Okay, wait a sec. I'm already noticing something. Well, no, I'm not sure, actually. I'll have to wait and see. I want to see if they left this particular model with dust on it as well. Because if they did...
it's a bit bright.
They might have actually dusted.
I don't know.
Okay, if they had left that undusted and their big reveal was that, my God, would that have been something of a punchline there. But
Yep.
okay, so I will.
Yeah. So new edition of Age of Sigmar. Big whoop. And this is some new model. Wait. Before we carry on, I need to show you what they did with the naming on the live stream.
Okay. Okay, I've got to see this. If this is gonna be good, I need to see this apparently.
I'll send you a screenshot, and I'll give you a moment to figure out what the problem is. I'll give you a hint. It's in the name.
What the hell? They actually misspelled it in their big reveal. Oh my God!
So not only are they giving us the new edition of Age of Sigmar, they are giving us a new faction, Saturn Cost.
Oh my God! Why would you not even bother to spell it properly? This is their big reveal. They were saving this for days, ladies and gentlemen. They had days to notice, hey, something's not right here. Let's fix this.
Yep.
Urosocium says, is it just me or companies just want to lose money? I am not kidding. The question at this point is genuine. My question got answered. Alfari says, look at this dude. Look at the top of his head. Yep. Mr. Dan Sand is dancing over there. Why would you do that? Okay, I'm sending that to Osmegon. I am sending that image to Osmegon. I want to legitimately see his reaction. Actually, no. I'm not going to send it right away. I'm probably going to end up joining him on a stream Thursday. So I get to send him and Ludus both of that. Just to see what the reaction is going to be, because my god!
Well, I mean, that's assuming they haven't seen it yet, though. But that would still be funny.
I mean...
Uh...
Oh, I'm going to... So we get some new models. A few new models have been...
Yeah, so yeah, this first model we get, yeah, it's pretty much... What?
What?
No, the stream crashed for me.
The stream's still going for me.
Yep. It's back.
Okay.
So yeah, we basically just have female Sanguinius for Age of Sigmar. Yeah, big whoop. And yeah, here's a nice a big dumb design decision. The hair. Games Workshop, let me tell you this. Modern hairstyles like this do not belong in a fantasy setting.
Correct.
Furthermore, it does not belong on someone/something that flies.
Correct.
Do you know why? That's because hair goes all over the place when wind is involved.
Yes.
And it can go in your eyes,
Also,
effectively blinding you and making you battle useless.
Also, I do want to point out, if we're going to go into hair fashion, to the people that legitimately think that this hairstyle is actually appealing, the 80s called, they wanted their shitty hairstyles back. That's all I'm going to say. I mean, the 80s did have some good stuff, like good music and good movies. They did not have particularly good hairstyle, nor did they have a particularly good fashion sense in general. I'm just going to put that out there.
Yep.
It's kind of cringe. The 80s were known for being kind of cringe. Which is exactly why the woke crowd seems to be obsessed with the 80s while completely ignoring the things that made the 80s good. But the 80s fashion itself was cringe.
It was cringe, father. Cringe.
I'm just saying, the 70s had better fashion sense than the 80s.
Yeah, this is true.
Parachute pants were actually kind of okay. One-piece denim jumpsuits were actually kind of okay. Disco was kind of okay.
Have you seen parachute jackets?
Oh, well, what?
I saw one yesterday, and it looked like a walking disco ball.
Apparently, yeah, okay. Apparently, parachute jackets were an 80s thing, apparently. I rest my fucking case if that's...
I mean, parachute pants, parachute jackets.
Parachute pants are a 70s thing, but from what I'm reading, parachute pants from right now seem to be an 80... No, wait, no. Admittedly, technically, parachute jacket was invented in 1912, but...
Gee. Well, I think...
Oh, that's different. That's the parachute that the guy tried jumping off the Eiffel Tower off with and did not work. Well, it technically did work. It just opened way too late on him.
Well, anyway, let's move on back to the models.
Yeah, anyways. Orsosium says, I'm missing disco and it is dead. Yes. DY says, to the woke, being repulsive to men takes priority over any practical purpose. Well, they succeeded.
Yeah.
These are not the woke crowd are not practical in any way. And they're repulsive, but they're not just repulsive to men, they're repulsive to the women and the children too.
Yeah. One of my, I'm best friends with a woman, and she says that the stuff those people wear are some wacky crap.
I've seen the memes.
But that is beside the point. So here we have it. Primaris Stormcast.
Yep.
And no, seriously, it is literally just Primaris Stormcast. I quote, made stronger of mind and body, clad in the Thunderstrike armor of an ingenious design, and wielding potent blessed weapons. New reinforcements are ready to take the fight to the enemy. Yeah, that is literally Primaris. However, that said, I'm not a big fan of Stormcast, but these sculpts do look alright.
Agreed.
They definitely look a lot more true scale than... They honestly look like true scale to me. As opposed to what Primaris Marines did. If that makes sense.
DY says, well, women's and children's opinions do not matter to the woke. Well, yeah. Well, any opinions aside from the politically correct prescription do not matter to the woke. Or they matter in a bad way. Oh, you're a woman and you do not agree with our beliefs? You're bad. You're worse than a man for that, apparently, according to the woke crowd.
You are not woman enough for me.
Yeah, unironically, that is how they actually view things. That is legitimately, unironically, how they view things.
Well, that is how they view races of color.
Yeah.
You are not X race enough for me.
Did you hear about the BBC director of diversity complaining that a black actor was, quote, not black enough?
Yep.
Yeah, that is... Which makes me really think, considering just how utterly insane some of the other woke stuff is. So if they think... So, considering the way that Warhammer views orcs, if they completely change the personality of the orcs in the lore, are the Warhammer crowd now going to start arguing that the orcs aren't... Well... I'm not going to say it because YouTube will take it out of context and demonetize me, but... Diversity. The CIA cares and now employs women to torture you, too. I mean, yeah. Alferi says, not again. DY says, only men's negative ones matter to them. All right. All right, so is there anything else you'd like to cover with regards to this?
Yeah. So interesting thing going on with these paint schemes.
What about them?
Very, very Warhammer 40k Space Marine chapter vibes right now.
Yep.
Or more specifically, Legion, Horus Heresy Legions. Okay, the first one, the golden one, that's just standard Age of Sigmar. Then you have the second one with the teal aqua-y color. That's just straight up Alpha Legion. Then you got the next one, which is kind of Dark Angels. And then you got the next one, which combined with that specific head with the dreadlocks, that is just straight up World Eaters. Whoa. Why? What? and why and who and why do you do this? Games Workshop, painters.
Alfarius says, as long as the ATF isn't diverse. You know, the ATF is now trying to virtue signal as well, now that you mention it. Like,
oh, great.
Alfarius also says 30K called. I want my paint scheme back. Yep. But yeah, so with regards to...
Yep, that's about it.
With regards to ATF virtue signaling, they actually got in trouble because they actually decided to virtue signal a holiday or something like that. I'll actually show you this real quick. Yep, it's real. I'm going to show you send the link here so I can actually pull it up, so I can actually let you guys pull it up. They celebrated, I shit you not, and Alfari says, hide your dogs and hide your wife, they're killing everyone. I shit you not, they celebrated on March 23rd, Happy National Puppy Day. The ATF of all organizations in the U.S. celebrated Happy National Puppy Day for virtue signaling. I kid you not. That is... They... Zeus, you of course know you know why that's a screw up, right?
I have no idea what's going on here.
ATF is notorious for... Okay, so the ATF is notorious for, as an organization, is exceedingly notorious for shooting people's pets when they go into their home to take their stuff.
Oh, okay.
And that organization, National Puppy Day celebrate.
Hold on, I want to see some of the comments.
The comments are gold, too, some of them. Because they got ratioed for this one. People mostly...
Wow.
The comments are based.
Wow. Ouch. Yeah, no, whoa, that is getting ratioed. Whoa, that is impressive.
It's kind of like that time that Burger King decided to tweet on International Women's Day how woke they were by stating, and I quote, "Women belong in the kitchen."
Yep, I remember that. Yeah, poor choice of words.
Alfari says maybe they could try and give people new puppies. Unfortunately, we know, knowing the ATF, no. I know where that would be heading. That's probably not a good idea. I'm just gonna say.
The ATF is the reason why John Wick exists. Except in real life.
The ATF is the reason why there are people out there.
Let's just
yeah, let's get on.
We have one lost model to look at.
Okay.
And I'm gonna... You've played Skyrim, right?
Yep.
Does this look at all familiar to you?
Vaguely. Yes, a little bit, actually.
Because to a lot of people, it looks almost exactly like those dwarf automaton thingies.
Mm.
And then there's this little priceless meme that I'm sending now.
Oh dear. At least they know that they're Stormcast, not Sortormcast.
Sotomcast.
That's a Dwarven Centurion, says Alfarius. Yeah. Alright, well, that's everything. I think it's a good time to call it then.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, whoa, we've almost been going for 3 hours, so
Yeah.
yeah, this was quite the lengthy one. Um,
To be fair, there's a lot
that
to
is a
talk about.
golden god right there.
Yep.
Yes, you're so skim. Yes.
All right.
I'm surprised he's not called Balthazar Gelt, you know?
Yeah. Yep. All right. So this has been Ace,
Yeah, this has been Xerius.
and we hope to see you all again next week. But until then, take care and have a good one. Actually,
night.
wait. We're gonna be seeing
Good
you
night,
guys
lovelies.
Thursday.
Wait,
actually,
what?
We'll be seeing them Thursday with some more Rogue Squadron.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Alfarius. I am supreme.
Indeed. All right.
But yeah, anyway, this has been the Wacky Ace Cast group